Classified details mentioned in the Auditor General's report on the Central Bank bond transactions.
මේකේ රහස්‍ය කරුණු සම්බන්ධයෙන් මම දැනටමත් කෝප් කමිටුවේ සභාපතිතුමා සමග කතා කළා.
New Central Bank Governor prepared to assist COP.
Basil Rajapaksa's comeback criticized.
දූෂිතයින් රැලක් තමයි අද මේ ගොනුවෙමින් යන්නේ.
බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමාගේ යම් අඩුපාඩු තියෙන්න පුළුවන්.
පාක්ෂිකව විශ්වාස කරනවාද? පරාජිත වෙලාවේ පැනලා වෙන යන බැසිල්ව
9 mothers who demonstrated with Palitathivara Peruma arrested.
Shooting in Pandipitiya, suspected drug peddler flees in a hail of bullets.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Aishwarya Pinto. Let's start off with a look at the stories in detail. Karajai Surya informed Parliament that he would discuss the Auditor General's report containing classified information on the central bank bond transactions with several parties including the Attorney General.
I hope to engage in discussions with the Auditor General, the Attorney General, the new Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, and act in a manner that would not disclose sensitive information.
I wish to know whether you would table the report. If not, what would be your future course of action with regard to this report?
The summary report has been handed over to the member of the Committee on Public Enterprises. A 1,200-page report containing classified information was handed over to me. I discussed the classified information mentioned in the report with the Chairman of COP. I hope to discuss the report with the Attorney General, the Auditor General, and even the Governor of the Central Bank in the coming days. With permission from the Chairman of COP, we can place a copy of the summary report in the Parliament library as well.
The report was given to you, and does this matter end from there?
I will have to inquire whether the report containing the classified information should be disclosed. We have agreed that assistance will be provided to the Chairman of COP in a way that it does not hinder the investigation.
The report was presented to COP. COP members have not announced whether they would accept it or not. No one has accepted this report as yet.
I will obtain a report from COP and advice from the Attorney General.
Responding to a question raised at a media briefing held at the Central Bank this evening, Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, stated that the Central Bank will assist in the investigations conducted by the COP committee.
My understanding is that the central bank will cooperate with the COP inquiry. We will certainly whatever they ask us, we will respond, and the inquiry will go ahead, and they will draw their own conclusions. Only after they draw their conclusions can one then think of what the next steps should be.
The governor also stated that in order to achieve sustained and accelerated development, the country needs to have strong macroeconomic fundamentals.
If we are to get accelerated, sustained development, growth, employment creation, we have to have strong macroeconomic fundamentals. How do we get there? Well, the government has committed itself to a medium-term stabilization program, and it is basing it on fiscal consolidation, particularly strengthening its effort on the revenue side. And it has acquired the support of the IMF in implementing this stabilization program. The Prime Minister is expected to announce his 5-year plan during the course of this month, which should give us a good idea of what are some of the structural measures. And in addition to that, there are some projects and programs, the Western Region Megapolis program, the Hambantota Development Program, where China is going to play a big role. Singapore is doing a master plan for Trincomalee, Japan a master plan for Kandy. So in addition to that, there are going to be these economic zones which are going to be part of those master plans, and also maybe outside some of those areas. There are agricultural zones. In addition, there is going to be an effort to strengthen our education and skills development. So you're going to bring this whole package together. The challenge, of course, is to implement it. Financial system is in pretty good health. If you look at the non-performing loans, if you look at capitalization, taken as a whole, the system is in good shape.
Muslims in Sri Lanka will celebrate the Ramzan festival tomorrow. This was after the first moon of the month of Shawwal in the Muslim calendar was sighted this evening. This was confirmed by the Colombo Grand Mosque. Muslims celebrate Ramzan after fasting for a period of 1 month.
In the meantime, former Minister Basil Rajapaksa's intervention to create a new political force was criticized at several political events and media briefings today.
As soon as Mahinda was defeated, this individual fled to America. Now he has come back and is making statements.
We
must learn from the tricks that they used when we lost. We must learn from them. Likewise, we must also prepare a tactical plan.
The person who fled the country even before 24 hours lapsed after Mahinda Rajapaksa was defeated has begun work once again. Even the leader of your party said that he should accept responsibility for the election defeat.
Defeat has been accepted. We must learn from experience and address the shortcomings of the previous government. Basil Rajapaksa may have certain shortcomings as well.
As the Minister of Economic Development, former Minister Basil Rajapaksa had an authoritarian rule. Are you saying that he has changed?
No, I told you before that the people witnessed the shortcomings of the previous government. They voted to elect a better government. However, those aspirations have not been fulfilled. We witnessed in the news the attempt made in Badulla to build a new force under the leadership of former Minister Basil Rajapaksa, who leads the group called the Joint Opposition. A band of corrupt persons who need to be held accountable to serious acts of corruption and fraud that took place in the country are coming together. They are attempting to bring back the anti-democratic and dictatorial rule that was rejected by the people of the country.
Won't this situation harm the Sri Lanka Freedom Party?
There were such incidents before the general election. There were separate meetings, separate organizations were created, various incidents took place. In the end, when the elections drew to a close, everyone contested under the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. I cannot be certain that it will not be the same this time as well. I hope that everyone in the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and all those who are in the alliance will contest the upcoming local government polls under one symbol. Who is attempting to create this force? It is Basil Rajapaksa. He says that the party supporters are lost because of the leaders who betray the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the leaders who abandon the party, who fled after losing the January 8th presidential election in 2015. The main person accountable for the Sri Lanka Freedom Party loss is Basil Rajapaksa. The SLF peers are aware of that. Not only did he make the party lose, as the minister in charge of economic affairs, he made the economy of the country fall. He fled the country, leaving the supporters at a loss. At 3 in the morning, he went to America. Will the SLFP supporters have faith in Basil Rajapaksa, who fled in the face of defeat?
Former parliamentarian Sajin Divas Gunawardena was remanded once again by the Colombo Magistrates Court until the 8th of this month. The order was issued after the former MP was produced before Colombo Chief Magistrate Gihan Pilapitiya today. Gunawardena is charged with failure to declare the manner in which assets worth 610 million rupees were accumulated by him. Officers of the Criminal Investigations Department informed court that bail should not be granted to the suspect as investigations were ongoing. The case will be taken up again on the 8th of this month. Son of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, Yoshida Rajapaksa, was summoned to the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division today to record a statement over the CSN channel. The FCID had recorded a statement from Yoshida Rajapaksa for nearly 4 hours today.
I came today as well to assist the investigations that are underway to the CSN channel. The issue is not over as yet, so I was asked various questions and I will give my fullest cooperation to the investigations. I believe that I will be summoned again in a week's time. The investigations are still ongoing.
9 women who participated in a protest along with Deputy Minister Palitha Tevaraperuma were arrested by the police today. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister Palitha Tevaraperuma and 3 others who took part in the demonstration were arrested by police earlier this evening.
These women, who are incidentally mothers of children seeking admission to the Meegathana primary school, have been charged with trespass and criminal intimidation. These women were produced before the Mathugama Magistrates Court today. Thereafter, they were remanded until the 8th of this month. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister Palitha Tevaraperuma discharged himself from a private hospital in Colombo, where he was receiving treatment, and arrived at the Mathugama Magistrates Court at 3:30 this afternoon, along with the medical reports, by which time court proceedings had concluded for the day. The Deputy Minister's lawyers said that their client would be presented before court on Thursday, given the fact that tomorrow is a holiday. However, the Deputy Minister went to the police station demanding that he be arrested today. Deputy Minister Palitha Tevaraperuma's conduct was strongly criticized during the Western Provincial Council sessions today. This is a huge issue not only for the country's education but to the entire state service in the country. This is not the first time such an incident has occurred. None of us should condone this behavior of the Deputy Minister. There are serious issues when enrolling students to schools. There are serious issues in the school system itself. However, we cannot in no way condone such measures as a solution to these issues.
Be it a parliamentarian or a minister, his actions were wrong. He shouldn't have assaulted government officers. This has been escalating. It won't stop. There were such politicians in our government as well. People who entered police stations and sat on the chair of the OIC and engaged in such acts. Such persons have suffered serious defeat today.
The fundamental rights petition filed at the Supreme Court and 3 other petitions filed at the Court of Appeal by students of the private medical college in Malabe were taken up today.
The fundamental rights petition was taken up before Chief Justice Kesri Pavan and Justice Anil Gunaratna. The petitioners had sought the intervention of court to do away with the legal obstacles preventing them from commencing their careers as medical professionals in Sri Lanka. The petitioners had also requested that the Malabe Private Medical College be accepted by the Sri Lanka Medical Council and their service rosters be changed accordingly so that they may engage in the profession. The court ordered the Attorney General to seek the views of the Sri Lanka Medical Council and submit a report to courts. Court ordered that the report be presented on the 22nd of September. A graduate from the Malabe Private Medical College, P.K. Malshani Suryarachi, had filed 2 writ petitions with the Court of Appeal. The petition noted that the Sri Lanka Medical Council had refused to register her as a doctor in Sri Lanka. In her petition, she requested a writ be issued nullifying the decision adopted by the Sri Lanka Medical Council. Court set the 2nd of August for the presenting of facts in this regard. One of the main duties is to ensure that the standards of Western medication are protected in the country. A board of inquiry consisting of senior medical professionals held that the medical college in Malabe is not fit for hospital training. I have respectfully informed the court that I will not register them even if a court order has been issued in this regard. I state this on behalf of the Medical Council. In the meantime, a silent protest was held in close proximity to the court complex at Halstoff by the Student Activists Committee of the Medical Faculty against the sanctioning of the Malabe Medical College. The protesters wore black bands around their mouths and held placards as a mark of protest.
A ceremony to hand over letters of appointment to 14 newly appointed Deputy Inspector Generals of Police was held under the auspices of Inspector General of Police Pujit Jayasundara today.
14 senior superintendents of police were promoted to the position of Deputy Inspector General of Police today. Former police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana and SSP Priyant Jayakudi were also among the officers who received promotions.
People may say various things and attempt to interpret actions in various ways. But what is important is not your personal views. It is the opinion the public holds about you. Small issues arise in certain areas due to personal agendas. It is a failure if we do not carry out our duties and responsibilities. There is a number of steps that we should take in the future through proper planning and devoid of personal agendas.
4 Saudi security force members were killed in a suicide bombing that took place in Medina, a kingdom near the Prophet's mosque, the Al-Haram Al-Nabawi, regarded as one of Islam's holiest sites.
Al Arabiya News Channel's correspondent said the suicide bomb took place in a parking lot between the city court and the mosque, visited by millions every year. The channel showed images of fire raging in a parking lot with at least one body seen nearby. The suicide bomber also died in the attack. The attack near the Prophet's mosque took place during Maghrib prayers, the time when Muslims break their fast during the holy month of Ramadan. The suicide bomber targeted 7 security officers when he pretended that he wanted to break his fast with them. 2 million visitors have so far arrived at Al-Haram Al-Nabawi during Ramadan to finish visitation of the Quran. Visitors were undeterred and were heading to perform the Isha prayers, which took place soon after the initial fast-breaking prayer. It stands on the site of a mosque built by the Prophet Muhammad himself next to his house and contains his tomb. The Prophet's mosque is the second holiest mosque in the world after Al-Haram in Mecca. The most notable feature of the Prophet's mosque is the green dome of the Prophet, which rises higher amongst a sea of white domes. This is where the tomb of the Prophet Muhammad is located. Early Muslim leaders Abu Bakr and Umar ibn al-Khattab are buried in an adjacent area as well. Around the same time as the Medina blast, 2 other explosions struck near a mosque in the eastern city of Qatif on the Gulf Coast. Witnesses said a suicide bomber blew himself up outside the Shia mosque without causing any other injuries. Earlier on Monday morning, 2 security officers were injured as a suicide bomber blew himself up near the US consulate in the Red Sea port city of Jeddah. In a statement, the US consulate said there was no casualties or injuries among itself, adding that it and the US embassy were in contact with Saudi authorities investigating the incident. The US State Department also said that it was aware of the explosion in Jeddah and it was working with Saudi authorities to collect more information.
Sri Lankan ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Azim Tassim, speaking to Newsfirst, noted that Sri Lankans were not harmed in the incident.
In Saudi Arabia, in the holy city of Medina, there was an explosion created by suicide bombers. However, we have now received confirmed information about deaths and injuries, which we are very sorry. However, we can confirm that there had not been any Sri Lankans involved in that incident, not any workers, nor any pilgrims.
The appointment of an interim homeopathic medical council was debated in Parliament today.
Homeopathic doctors feel that if an interim council is considered by the minister to be absolutely necessary, that council should not function for anything more than maximum 6 months, by which time the Homeopathic Medical Council should become functional and should be able to perform its functions. The
interim council was 5 years.
Pardon me?
Earlier the interim council was 5 years. That's why we have reduced to 2 years.
Why do we want something interim for 5 years? Why do we want something interim for 2 years? An interim arrangement is intended to be a temporary arrangement to enable the permanent arrangement to become functional.
No, Honourable
and surely the Homeopathic Medical Council can be set up within a matter of a few weeks or a matter of a few months.
No, the council will have meetings.
If interim council function for 2 years,
now how many meetings
are council? Doctors is that many irregular things can happen.
No, how many meetings the council can hold within the 6 months? Usually now the Ceylon Medical Council, they hold the meetings once a month. So what can you do? Because there are a lot of things to do to actually...
Anyway, I would urge you to kindly consider the question of whether an interim council should function for a period of 2 years, or whether you should not think in terms of it functioning for a lesser period.
Shots were fired at a car suspected of transporting narcotics this morning in the Ambagas Hatra area in Panipitiya.
The Police Narcotic Bureau said that a raid was carried out in the Panipiti area based on information obtained from a suspect currently in custody. The suspected drug peddler was scheduled to arrive at the disclosed location this morning. Police said that when the car approached the location, officers attempted to stop it and the car sped away, prompting narcotics officers to open fire at the car. However, the suspect managed to evade capture. Police said that investigations are underway to locate and apprehend the suspect.
An officer attached to the Wildlife Office in Hambantota lost his life after being shot at during a scuffle with a suspect during a raid.
The raid took place early this morning in the Valsapugala area after information came to light that wild animals were hunted and sold to visitors. One suspect was arrested in the raid. It is reported that the firearm of an officer was discharged when he tussled with another suspect who attempted to flee. The deceased officer has been identified as 43-year-old Assistant Wildlife Reserve Officer Jagat Seniviratna. The All Island Wildlife Officers Association says that officers face a great risk when engaging in their duties.
As we see it, serving in the Department of Wildlife Conservation is the most challenging and risky job in the country. The reason is because the wildlife officers are under a lot of pressure when discharging their duties. They need to take into account the harm caused to the environment and the animals, as well as the harm caused by the poachers. The most unfortunate incident took place yesterday. What happened yesterday can happen to me or my colleague tomorrow. We urge the authorities to assist us in building a stronger department capable of facing all these risks.
It has been a month since explosions rocked the Salava area following a fire that broke out at the Salava army camp in Koskama. Area residents state that a majority of the houses and shops that were damaged and destroyed due to the fire are yet to be reconstructed.
Locals in the area stated that the construction activities of houses that were destroyed completely have not yet begun. The partially damaged houses and shops are still under renovation.
What sort of compensation will be received through that process? Will the compensation be provided by the government? These are the questions in the minds of those affected. A large number of people who were supposed to receive 50,000 rupees in the first round of providing compensation have not received it yet. The government has failed to provide compensation.
Valuations have been provided to some shop owners, however there are more who are yet to receive it. People who used to earn 50,000 to 100,000 rupees on a daily basis have been left destitute and are not dependent on water and packets of rice. They are helpless. Most of the families live in tents.
What you see in front is my shop, which has been there for the past 50 years. My shop was completely destroyed by the explosion. We received 50,000 rupees, but the buildings have not been removed from the area and we survived with so much of difficulty. Nothing has been done.
Reports of estimated damage to the houses in the Salava Grama Seva division were handed over today under the auspices of officials attached to the Sitavaka Divisional Secretariat.
The estimated loss is 50,000 rupees. What kind of estimation is this?
It has been only 6 months since we laid the slab of our house. However, we have only received a valuation of 25,000 rupees. We won't be able to afford anything with it. All our doors and windows have been damaged.
We inquired about the matter from Army spokesperson Brigadier Jayanath Jayavira. Brigadier Jayavira noted that 742 houses that suffered minor damages to its roofs have been repaired and that 50 such houses are yet to be renovated. Uniform materials for 869 school students have been provided by the government, and the Sri Lanka Army have taken up the responsibility of preparing uniforms. In addition, the Sri Lanka Army has also taken steps to provide stationery equipment to 1,500 students. Army spokesperson Brigadier Jayanath Jayavira also noted that steps have been taken to clean affected wells in the area and to remove bomb shrapnel from the area.
Your life, our news.
It has been reported that the Pallebad, the regional hospital in Matale, is sinking.
The Pallebad, the hospital, was established over 20 years ago. This hospital is in a dilapidated state. This is because the hospital was not built according to proper standards. Today the hospital is sinking. Residents from villages around the area rely on the regional hospital for their medical requirements. Although the hospital was constructed to house a number of units and wards, the only unit which is functioning today is the primary medical care unit. The wards are intact. However, instead of patients, bats have taken over. The Public Health Inspector's office looks like a shrubbery area. The medical hostel today is a breeding ground for many diseases.
Everything is damaged. There's a kitchen to cook, but we cannot use it. The dental and the primary ward is functioning. We are scared. We request that they repair all this. There are small children in this area. We are scared to leave them in our bedrooms. Times have changed. There are dangerous animals everywhere. The building with all the wards is the one that is sinking. It cannot be used. But according to the workforce of our department, the activities at the primary treatment unit is currently stable.
The Dambulla Base Hospital is located 36 kilometers away from this location, while the Gale Villa Divisional Hospital is located 20 kilometers away. Residents call on the authorities to renovate this hospital, taking into account the distance they have to travel in order to obtain medical assistance if this hospital shuts down permanently.
The annual Asala Perahara of the historic Origami Temple began today. Newsfirst, together with the Sirasa Media Network, are the media sponsors of the annual procession.
The cup erecting ceremony was held on the 22nd of May. Keeping with tradition, the Perahara began with the hoisting of the flag at the Islam Mosque. The Basnayaka Nilame of the Runu Origami Devalaya hoisted the flag. The aim of this tradition is to encourage unity among people of varying faiths. The procession began from the Mahadevalaya and continued along the main road towards the Valliyamma Devalaya and then proceeded back to the Mahadevalaya. The sacred casket was paraded around the streets by the Vasana Tasker of the Origami Mahadevalaya.
A massive hall to facilitate the devotees has been arranged this time. The people of Origami have created a large kitchen in the area as well. We request devotees not to come under the influence of alcohol. Please come in an appropriate attire when visiting the premises.
A large number of devotees arrived at the Devalaya from the northern and eastern provinces. For the convenience of the devotees who arrive for the multi-religious and cultural festival, a dansa will be held with assistance of the Sri Lanka Navy till the 19th of this month.
And that's a wrap of your news for tonight. I'm Aishwarya Pinto.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.